If you like Diablo 2, chances are that you also like the elemental Druid build. It's fast, it's powerful, but is a little defensively frail, but it is the exact character that we're going to be taking a look at from normal to hell in this mini playthrough.
So it begins.
Much like any other character, I started off by following the road in Bloodmoor to Cold Plains, passing the Den of Evil on the way. While on my way, I killed monsters to get experience to get to level 2, which is especially essential for a caster like Druid. Once getting to level 2, I opted to buff up my energy and put a point into Firestorm. I would be building a Fire Elemental Druid in the beginning and then switching over to Wind in the later difficulties. Fire Elemental damage in the beginning absolutely melts monsters. The damage output is ridiculous and there aren't a lot of immunities either, making a Firestorm to Fissure Druid an obvious choice for early game. Next I did the Den of Evil, and after clearing out all the monsters I realized that there was one monster left. And one fallen that got resurrected. We've all been there, am I right? See? Looks just like a fallen, and totally not like a zombie that I missed for 15 minutes. Okay, moving on. Bloodriven can be a hard early quest, and I'm totally not saying this because this ended up happening to me. Well, if it makes me sound like a better player, I killed her in round 2. Yeah. I don't think it does, you know what? Never mind, scratch that. But you know what? One of the more important quests in Act 1 is to kill the Countess and get runes to make Stealth and Leaf, which are useful for the Druid. Also, as you can see, my skill progression there was at the Molten Boulder stage, which then went on to Fissure when I was level 12. Some points I follow are to put only one point into Boulder since it doesn't give synergy to Fissure, but only using Boulder against fire enchanted monsters, even though Fissure makes everything else fall like a fallen. Get it? Okay. After I was done with the Countess grind, I moved on to the monastery and got the hammer. This can be used to please Charcy, or less importantly, imbue a circlet to get plus skills on it. On my way from there to Andy, I found Hussarus' boots, which give 25 fire res and 20 faster run walk, and blood fists, which give 40 life and hit recovery. Never underestimate the power of 5 magic find. Dario has got minus 50 fire resistance, so obliterating her is a piece of cake. After that I talked to Warrive, got to Act 2, bought a belt and better potions, and off to the races to find the 3 quest items. While doing this stuff I also built my rune words, Stealth for some run walk and hit recovery and Leaf, which gives plus 3 to fire skills. Because of all those plus skills I do insane amounts of damage. I almost feel bad for the monsters. Almost. Before the Duriel fight, I drank a bunch of thawing potions as they give you 50 cold res for 30 seconds each, so by drinking 8 of them I bought a 4-minute insurance policy. But as it turned out, I didn't even need 40 seconds to kill Duriel. I mean, look at this. I was just getting started, and the next thing I knew was boom, I'd already killed him. Act 3, beware. Or wait, I think that's a sorceress thing. Anyways. Some things that I like to do when I reach Act 3 are to upgrade my potions and check if Ormus has a reasonably priced teleport staff. It is going to be very helpful from here on out because instead of walking around obstructions, I'll be able to teleport across. One thing to keep in mind though is that about each teleport costs 2.5k gold, so using it efficiently is key.
Hello. Die.
Killing battlemate Selena, one of those things, gives you the Lanassen's Tome, but this time it came with a white circlet, which I imbued and got +1 to lightning skills. RIP. Mephisto was easy as pie, 3.14 that is. No, but all you have to do is to look out for his charge bolts and frozen orb and you should be fine. But guess who's not going to be fine? Iswell. Iswell is a mini boss in Act 4 which I always kill because the quest bonus gives 2 additional skill points. With the Druid or something like a Trepassin, I like to walk my Izzy, that is to cast Fissure and keep walking till I find the Plains of Despair and the river subsequently, while also damaging Izzy. Just saves a little bit of time and is neat, I guess. Inside the chaos, I decided to take down Vizier first, or should I say not take him down because he's fire immune, due to which I had to let my Merc do the job. After that, killing Decise and Infector was no big problem. Against Diablo, a lot of people prefer Firestorm to Fissure because of the way that Fissure works is that the monster should be moving in order for it to cause damage, and Diablo can be a pain if he just stands around firing lightning hoses, but quite honestly I prefer the brute damage of Fissure more, and eventually he does go down. And for me, you dropped Inferno Stride, which are in every way an upgrade to my current boots. Super! I forgot to record the ancient fight the first time round, so you won't see a level up at the end, but I wasn't so mad because it was a pretty easy fight with the Druid. Just don't let the bros all gang up on you and you should be fine. Fissure does a lot of damage. Clearing the normal waves is pretty easy except for Colenso, who is fire immune and requires a Merc's assistance. After that though, it's pretty straightforward till the Bale fight. Killing Bale with Fissure is extremely annoying and very slow, because like I mentioned before, Fissure damages upon the monster walking over it, and Bale isn't the type of guy you'd most likely stroll in a park with, believe it or not. Therefore a combination of Fissure and Firestorm ends up being the faster route here, and that's what I used. He did not drop me anything good. Feels bad, man. With no good drops from this dude even, it was time to move on to Nightmare and face my epic resistances. Okay, time to do some Charcy runs. What that means is that I'm checking the armor charts he's selling, buy if I find something interesting, and if not, save and quit the game. This resets the vendors and gives them fresh items. You can also do this by walking in and out of town in the same act, but for Charcy, saving and quitting is faster. After a while I was ready to start Nightmare with a +1 Fissure Druid helmet, Leaf Staff with +3 to all skills and 33 cold res, Stealth for faster run walk and hit recovery, 8 light res Ami, 17 light res ring, 23 light res demonite sash, Inferno Stride boots, 26 cold res gloves, and of course, the center of attraction, 5 MF ring. I did the den in Nightmare because I need a respec in this particular difficulty. Also the bonus skill point never hurts. By this point my Fissure is maxed out, so I'm going to be putting points into Firestorm for the synergy damage. I killed Nightmare Countess for the runes required to build the rune words I need, Ort Sol to build a lore helmet which gives +1 to all skills and 30 light res, and the Rhyme Shield which gives increased block rate, 25 all res and cannot be frozen, which is very convenient because even though being frozen does not affect the Druid's cast speed, it does slow down movement and therefore I prefer it over Ancient's Pledge. The Smith was fire immune and I was literally making weapons from my bones, so I decided to live to fight another day. I got the hammer though, gave it to Charcy, imbued another circlet, and got +1 to Necromancer skills. Yeah. Nightmare Andy is a similar story to normal. She still has -50 fire resistance and the poor little girl literally cannot handle how hot you are. Isn't that kind of romantic? She ended up dropping the Iron Jang Bong, which is pretty useless, but hey, at least she tried. Soon after I got into the Radamant fight, I realized it was a mistake, since all the Scully bros around him are fire immune, so your poor druid is stuck running around cursed with amp damage, getting shot a million times with fire projectiles while trying to kill this huge dude who's smoking poison into your eyes. If I were to do it again, I would probably wait for the respect I got when I got to the next act. The fight with Duriel was much longer than the last time, and my thawing potions helped me out all the way. He ended up dropping me the Impaler, which again was super useless, and well, now it's respec time. I switched out my weapon from the Leaf Stab to 20 FCR wand with the Rhyme Shield. FCR with Fire Druid doesn't really matter since all the fire skills have a cooldown timer anyways. Between my wand and stealth I have got 45 FCR, so I am at the 30 FCR breakpoint. I got the amount of strength required to wear my gear, put the rest into vitality. For skills, I went for a 70% life increase Oak Sage, then started to circulate my points between Tornado and Hurricane, which are going to be my main damaging skills. I also put a point into Summon Grizzly because it serves as an excellent meat shield and is useful for survivability. The way the new skills work now is I summon my Sage and Teddy, cast Cyclone Armor which absorbs part of the damage my Druid takes, cast Hurricane which causes cold damage, and then spam Tornadoes at enemies which causes physical damage. Aiming with NATO is easier said than done. It does take a little bit of practice since the tornadoes go in wild trajectories and you have to be in a position such that they hit your enemies. Using that, I was able to retrieve the Kidman, turn it over to Wormus, and as a reward I got a ring with 29 cold rests, which is pretty useful. Even with all that said about Tornado, it is a lot of fun to kill enemies with and is the reason why it makes the Druid so awesome, especially since you're coming from an attack that also did a lot of damage but didn't involve a lot of action, that being Fissure. Tornado is a blast. By the time I got to Mephisto, I had become pretty used to this build. The fight wasn't a walk in the park or anything, but with practice I was able to direct the tornadoes towards him, use the bear as bait effectively, and eventually kill him. It didn't drop me anything special, so I just moved on to Act 4. I decided to visit the Hellforge to see if I can casually get something like a Limb Rune. I don't know. Hephasto, who I noticed looks like a brother or something of the Smith, was relatively pretty easy, and he also dropped me Blade Buckle. Speaking of things that are completely useless, I also found the Io Rune from the Hellforge. Limb Rune. Yeah, right. Nightmare CS was a breeze. Get it? Because I'm a Wind Druid. Never mind. Nothing was physical immune, and those frustrating necromages die quickly to physical attacks, which is just so satisfying. Diablo wasn't a pain either. I guess one annoying thing is that with the Druid Diablo kill, is that Diablo casts this fire circle thingy, which always kills your Oak Sage, and then you have to stop attacking and resummon it, and you get the point. Other than that, everything was okay. Even the 2 useless uniques you dropped me. It's fine. I'm pretty much numb to it by now. The ancient fight in Act 5 Nightmare can be a nightmare, especially if they're cursed. I recommend not tanking these ancients, just making a town portal and resetting their roles. Once you do find a role which satisfies your needs, here's what you do. Go up to this corner in the map and lure them in. Then teleport, and teleport again till you get to this corner. Now for whatever reason, you'll be able to isolate them easily. Talak will spin and come towards you first, and you can wreck his face with tornadoes. If he's fire enchanted, get away from him when he's about to die, otherwise you can also die in that fire explosion. I tried to rinse and repeat the same with Corlig, but he wrecked my face pretty bad. Instead I just had to kill him in the open, the old-fashioned way. Finally, when the last dude was all that left, he was pretty easy to take down. Yup, not close at all. Easy peasy. Hoi, 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 hoi. Yeah, Bale, we get it. The world is ending. Very funny. Bale waves are pretty easy to kill, except for the Lister pack. They can be a pain, especially if they turn out to be extra fast or cursed. I mean, you can die to them, but since I didn't, it's a pretty low chance that anybody else would. Bale isn't a particularly fast kill with the Druid. I mean, you do good damage and his health does go down, but it's not like crazy charge strike, static field or crushing blow damage. Getting a constant barrage of tornadoes is hard. One thing I could have done in retrospect is to stand closer to him, which does help a lot with the kill speed. In the end, I ended up killing him and didn't get anything useful out of the drops. Yet. I might be done with nightmare quests, but I want to stay in the difficulty a little longer and do some magic find runs. I bought some very basic magic find equipment from Charseep, and I'm going to be using this throughout the process. The first useful thing I found was from Nightmare and Dariel, and it's Razor Switch. 1 dual skills, 30 FCR, 80 to life, 175 to mana, and 50 all res. Doesn't get any better than that, folks. This is going to be my primary weapon in hell for sure. Next up were Trank's Claws from Nightmare Mephisto, which is an excellent drop because it gives me 20 FCR and 30 cold res. These are a very interesting option, but I'll have to see if they fit my situation depending on my FCR breakpoints and hell resistances. Next, Mephisto dropped me Snow Clash, which I'm not a cold Sork, so it won't benefit me in any way, but it's a cool find, I guess. And then Dariel dropped a unique ring. Mantled. Good. I also found Hawkmail with Cannot Be Frozen, which I stashed, and Mage Fist, which aren't compelling enough that I'll consider them over Tranks. I know people make a huge case for Mage Fist because they increase your mana pool, but I value the cold resistance over that. And then it happened again. Nagel. Good. Very good. Let's go to hell. So I got to hell and completed a couple quests which helped me buff up my druid a little more, and I guess it's time to show it off. For my weapon, I'm using Razor Switch. I used the socket quest to put a 21 cold res jewel inside of it. For my armor, I am still using stealth, mostly because I haven't found a better armor, but it also contributes to the FCR that my druid has currently. Right now he has 55, breaking the 46 breakpoint. For the amulet, I have 22 fire res, 29 cold res ring, 23 light res belt, 17 cold res, 10 fire res ring, Inferno strides with 20 faster run walk, 30 fire res, these GG gloves with 30 fire res, 20 light res, and finally, yeah, Charseep's imbue. I knew that girl could do magic. This thing, I mean, it's ridiculous. 3 tornado, 3 to hurricane. For a measure, look at my damage with and without this helmet. It's nuts. While in the character tab, we can see that my resistances are pretty okay for hell as well. My life is 992, but that ramps up to 1800 with my Oak Sage. One of the advantages of playing with the Wind Druid is that you don't have to deal with monster immunities in hell. I mean, sure, there are monsters immune to physical, but they're way less common than elemental immunities, plus you have Hurricane with cold damage to deal with them. Even still, if you end up running into a monster immune to both physical and cold, I mean, there's a reason I'm wearing stealth with 25 faster run walk, I guess. So, yeah. Hell Andy isn't as easy as normal or Nightmare Andy, mostly because I'm not a fire druid anymore. What that means is I'm gonna have to stand in the pocket with Dariel, go for the fences while massive poison damage is being inflicted on me. Fortunately, antidotes exist to raise my poison res, and slowly but surely, she does go down. Alright, I gotta tell you a secret. I don't like the Maggot Lair. I especially don't like it when it is filled with physical immune monsters with Conviction Aura. I mean, they're still killable as you can see with Hurricane, but It's uncomfortable, and this blaze isn't helping in this already claustrophobia-inducing place. Hello? So what I do is I teleport in, get away from danger, and attack from the distance. When the right time comes, take the staff and peace out. You want to see something really cool? There you go. What? You asked for it. There's snakes. What was I supposed to do? Nah, don't worry about it. I die all the time. It's just I don't show you that often. Fortunately, this is softcore, and I got the amulet before attempting that suicide. Moral of the story, basically what I was trying to show you there, are that snakes are crazy overpowered and they're immune to cold, so hurricane does not slow them down. So yeah, don't fight them. Speaking of learning things after dying, no, actually Duriel was a relatively easy fight. You just have to rinse and repeat, put the bear down and shoot the tornadoes. That big bug loves killing grizzlies, and as a bonus, Pete doesn't have Andariel's stupid one-hit KO power, giving you time to aim with NATO and eventually kill him. Zealots are hugely underrated monsters in Act 3, especially if you're cursed with amp damage. They can easily shred your face. Yeah, you should probably be aware of them. Probably. I mean, that one was my fault, but my point still stands. Serena's temple in hell is just another way of saying death. She and all of her extra fast, and if you're extra lucky, might or equipped minions will make sure you die. You won't have to do a thing, like, they'll make sure. That being said, if you get a pretty non-horrible roll on her, you can kill her. Just take your time. Bait her with your grizzly, hope she doesn't kill it too fast, and you're able to get a couple tornadoes off. Rinse and repeat. Trav can be a pain. Even though there are no monsters that you can't kill per se, you always get cursed and dudes have hydras for days. Your best bet is to drag one of them out like I did right here and overpower him with NATOs. Hey, look at that! 19 fire as Grand Charm, GG! After I was done with all that and the Durance map's nonsense, it was time to say hello to Mephisto and rip his face in half with tornadoes. It was honestly a very easy fight, and insanely rewarding for me as well because it gave me the best merc weapon a Wind Druid can hope for. The Weeper's Toll. We a decrepified Druid now. Unfortunately, none of the mercenaries are high leveled enough to use it. Gonna have to wait on that for a little while. In the meantime, I decided to clear out a particular Chaos Sanctuary. Infector was first and was a pain. Soon as you open the seal, his minions come charging at you and leave you overwhelmed. The thing I did to solve this problem is I stacked half of his minions near the other seal, and I drew the rest of them towards me and killed them one by one. The size was no problem. I think that necromancers are extra prone to physical damage and they go down pretty fast. Same with Vizier. A couple tornadoes in, the dude completely fell apart, and now it was time to kill the name of the game in hell. That's Diablo. Who, by the way, was just intent on absolutely destroying me with Firestorm, as you saw there and here. God damn it, Diablo, calm down, buddy. We're all friends here. But that still meant that I had to go back and kill him. After which he dropped me out of trash. Guess we're not friends after all. By the way, look at this thing. My gosh, what a beast. There were a lot of highlights in Act 5, and the first one was my buddy Frozenstein, I don't know. Getting to him is super difficult. You have souls, snakes, cold scully bros, basically anything that moves can kill you and will kill you. Frozenstein himself has the pack of dogs mentality where you just charges at you super fast, drains half your health and all your mana with one hit, and leaves you in a bad mood, but fortunately, You're still alive? He's pretty easy to kill. After you rescue Anya, you'll get a thank you so much from Nala, and less importantly, a scroll of resistance which resulted in me getting max all res. Oh baby. Except for poison. But nobody cares about poison. Until and unless you face poison snakes. Snakes and poison? What kind of crazy chemistry is going on right here? Who made these and why? I'll tell you who didn't make these. Nullifac. Because he himself is pretty easy to down, despite the fact that he's a cheater and uses corpse explosion on his own dudes. I mean, how's that even supposed to work? I guess we'll never know. Okay, Ancient's time. I tried a lot of different things in this fight, but the one that ended up working was teleporting to keep my merc with me and then letting Korlik come to us. After that, with my mercs Decrep, Druid's NATO, and Grizzly's Paws, I was able to kill Korlik. It was impossible to separate the other two though, and they hurt a lot. For a moment I tried to use my mercenary as a shield and attack them, but they just ended up killing him, so down the drain goes that plan. In the end I just settled with moving around the map trying to survive and occasionally letting out tornadoes behind me, hoping that they would hit. It was desperate and super rippy, but in the end I managed to bring Talik down. After that, killing Madak was a matter of distractions with the bear and landing tornadoes from behind. So that's that. Bale waves were a bit of a troll, but nothing was like Lister and his minions. I had no idea what was happening here. In fact, I still don't, but these guys just refuse to take any damage from my tornadoes. And when that happens, panic ensues, shortly followed by... I tried and tried again, but to no avail. These guys refused to take any physical damage from my tornadoes. The only damage that they took was from my hurricane, which was not enough to kill them. I tried re-rolling the whole wave by saving and quitting and doing it all again, but the results didn't change. In the end, I just decided to walk them, which unfortunately was anything but a walk in the park. Fortunately though, I was able to get them out enough for Bale to laugh and go into the throne room. From there, all I had to do was pick up my body, easier said than done, and time for the final fight. Oh, by the way, this whole Lister thing took me 1.5 hours. So yeah. Good times. Speaking of absolutely amazing, super duper fantastic good times, the Bale fight. Remember when I said that Bale wasn't a fast girl with the Druid and Nightmare? Yeah, double that. And then after multiplying it by 7 billion, you'll get to the difficulty of this fight. Let me give you a short summary. I tried attacking him. He killed my Oak Sage. And you probably can guess what followed. Seriously, I died so many times in this fight that I had to sell my entire stash to get potions so that I can finish this game and this playthrough. And I guess this final fight kind of summarizes my whole experience with making this playthrough. It started out well and pretty easy, and then the easiness got chopped down one at a time. The Druid, though is strong, but his weak defenses were a bit of a problem in this whole experience. That all being said, I got to play pretend and be a guy who can cause fissures, firestorms, hurricanes, cyclones, twisters, grizzlies with a flick of a wand. I guess the fun I had doing those things kinda makes up for the shortcomings. Similarly, I hope you had fun watching this video, which helped overcome the shortcomings I made while making it. If you've made it this far in, I would love for you to leave a comment and tell me what I can improve on. But if you don't want to do that, that's fine. You just want to watch another video like this one? Watch one that I linked right now in the card. It's from a user named Indrek, He did one for the Amazon, which was basically my inspiration and cheat notes, which I used to make this video. Other than that, hope you find this content riveting. Yours truly, with love.